Fresh from the press. Serious warning to Malaysian auto sellers and owners? Before exposing this eye-popping news, may I introduce myself as Madam Sophia VA, the virtual assistant to CTM Joseph NG, your sales and marketing expert. Without further ado, allow me to continue. Alright. Thieves are eyeing your car's catalytic converter. Purses, cameras, mobile phones, all of these may be the most common items to be stolen during the holiday season. But many don't realize that the catalytic converter under the car is also valuable and sought after by many thieves. The high-quality components inside, made of precious metals such as palladium, platinum, and rhodium, are highly coveted, according to the Auto Club Europa, ACE. Although the catalytic converter contains only tiny amounts of these, the prices for such precious metals are rising as Arthenum, Bureau of Reported Crimes. Last year, the ADAC Road Patrol Service alone counted 420 thefts in Germany alone, while this year there were even 448 catalytic converters stolen up to mid-July. Which cars are particularly targeted by thieves? The phenomenon seems to affect mainly older cars with petrol engines, as these contain more rhodium in the catalytic converters. It's also easier for thieves to get at them. The catalytic converters are usually easier to access, and they are usually located in the middle of the car's floor. In newer cars, the catalytic converter is often placed near the engine to get it up to operating temperature more quickly after a cold start. It's also harder for thieves to get to it there. Moreover, newer catalytic converters no longer have so many precious metals. Some of the most at-risk models are the VW Polo 3, model years 1994 to 2001, Opel Astra G, 1998 to 2005, Toyota Prius 3, 2009 to 2016, Mitsubishi Charisma, 1995 to 2004, and Space Wagon, 1998 to 2002, as well as Seat Arosa, VW Lupo, and Honda Jazz, according to the ACE. Thieves meanwhile also target diesel particulate filters in models such as the Mercedes Sprinter and VW Crafter. Taller vehicles like older panels, vans, and motorhomes are also easy prey. They do not even have be lifted to remove the catalytic converter, and trained criminals only need a few minutes to get what they need. To get to the catalytic converter, the thief will usually jack up the car and then cut the exhaust pipe in front of and behind the catalytic converter. A flex or electric saw is often used on noisy roads, while in quieter places thieves use an exhaust or chain pipe cutter. Thieves often find it easier during the summer holidays. On the one hand, cars are often left unattended for longer because the owners are away. On the other, they may not always be able to keep their car in sight when traveling on holidays. As ever, the safest place for cars remains a lockable garage. But what about when you're on the road? That's where you should look for parking spaces in busy, well-lit places. There, jacking up a car and sawing something off is likely to attract attention. What happens when there's no catalytic converter? Don't worry, even if you don't see the missing catalytic converter right away, you will certainly hear the difference. A very loud engine noise is generally the result after a theft. Unfortunately, this also means your car is no longer allowed to be driven on the road, as the exhaust gas purification, the job of the catalytic converter, no longer works. This also voids the car's license to drive on the road. If you discover a theft, you should inform the police and your insurer and coordinate everything with them, advises Catherine Jarosch from the German Insurance Association, GDV. Source: The Star Papers, July 18, 2021. As a bonus for you viewing up till here is free chapter of the book written by CTM Joseph NG, How to Close Every Sale and Every Time. By the way, this free chapter is presented by my colleague, Madam Florence VA.
Thank you, Madam Sophia, for allowing me to present the free chapter of the book, How to Close Every Sale and Every Time, by CTM Joseph NG. All right. Here it goes. Chapter 3: The Sharp Angle Close, or better known as Instant Reversal Close. Quote, instead of merely answering a question with a question as in the standard solution, answer with one that, if they reply the way their original question indicates they've bought. By Tom Hopkins, quoted from his book, How to Master the Art of Selling. The sharp angle close is used to turn an objection into a reason for buying, and it is best used when the customer has almost run out of resistance or reasons for not buying. Specifically, the above method is called the instant reverse method. The instant reverse method might go something like this. When your prospect says, "I'm not interested," you say, "That's exactly why I'm calling." Now what's going through your prospect's mind when you say that? The response would be, "What or huh, right. By the way, are you likely breaking their preoccupation?" Sure. And that's your first goal, isn't it? Why? Well, how can you influence someone if you don't have their attention? The next step is to say, "Most of my clients were initially uninterested when I called. Nonetheless, when they found how they could benefit by working with me, they became my best clients." Keep in mind that you might want to get very specific with the benefits such as saving or making money, having more time or convenience, etc. You go on to say, "It would just take me a few minutes of your time to explain to you how I am able to benefit my current clients and how I can benefit you as well. Is midday or evening better for you?" Now, why is that called the instant reverse method? Did you reverse something? Yes, you reversed their initial objection into an opportunity or appointment. Is it valuable for you to learn skills to turn objections into opportunities for yourself? Of course. And isn't it a true statement to say that most people aren't interested when you call, but often become interested after they meet with you? Another excellent example would be the customer says that he can't afford the monthly payment. Instead of saying, "Well, let's see if we can knock it down and then you will be able to afford it," a professional sales clerk would say, "If we can get the payment down, would you take it now?" By the way, this applies also when you are faced with a major objection. When the person has to say that "I have to have it on Friday, it is too late now," you say, "If we get it ready for you by Friday, would you? Okay, the order now." The person has to say, "Well, okay, yes." Otherwise, he has to give you another reason that enables you to continue selling. Believe it or not, the instant reverse close or sharp angle close, is one of my favorite closing techniques. It has helped salespeople to increase tremendously their income. A participant of mine used it to increase his income by 50% last year. He simply uses it to break the preoccupation and the natural sales resistance with the prospect. Use this close to overcome one major obstacle preventing the close, especially when in the course of selling you can easily solve the problem immediately. With this single most important problem focus, the objection and closing can be done. You can use it in almost any sales situation and its effectiveness depends on its speed. The person says, "I am not interested," you say that this is exactly why you should talk to me. The prospect will reply instantly by saying, "What?" and you immediately answer with a logical, intelligent answer. It is worth repeating, the whole purpose of the instant reversal close is to focus on the objection that the prospect has given you as the same reason why the would-be buyer should buy from you. This is to grab their attention completely and get them to listen to you with concentration for at least another 5 seconds. You will be astonished how many prospects will turn around and make 180 degrees turn and make a buying decision with this. Summary: in a nutshell, this chapter on sharp angled close is an ideal way to close when faced with a major obstacle. If you recall, this close can be immediately done when the salesman has isolated and overcome the biggest objection and turning it into a final reason for buying. As mentioned, this close can be best used when the major objection is the stumbling block to a sale. Lest you forget, more than a good method of closing, it can be an additional way to break the prospect's preoccupation and his or her natural sales resistance. Furthermore, if you recall, the salesperson must have the power to solve easily by himself or with his company's help to solve the problem. As said, its effectiveness depends on its speed of applying the closing method. That said and done, let's cross over the all-important conclusion. Alright, conclusion to round off this chapter: sharp angled close or instant reversal close. A few succulent sentences must be mentioned at all cost. Agree or not? You ask, what is so special in this particular close? My unvarnished truth is that it is best way to close or walk away from the sales altogether. This would save time and effort as the prospect cannot give any more excuse. You ask why? Because it has been identified as the major stumbling block for the prospect to buy. My previous sales personnel tried this and it worked. He was willing to give further discount from his own pocket to close the sales to overcome the biggest objection. Believe me, if this happened in a similar situation, you can bet you last dollar it will certainly work. My ex-salesman has done it and myself too. By the way, when I, myself, faced with problems of closing the sales with instant reversal closing method, I console myself with the words of Brian Tracy, Approach each customer with the idea of helping him or her to solve a problem or achieve a goal, not of selling a product or service. Would you do that also? With that, I hereby close this chapter. Agree. End of chapter 3. Before signing off, may I, Florence, Sophia and CTM Joseph wish you every success